to my channel. Today I'm actually doing a video that I've been wanting to do for months now. It's been on my list for a very, very long time, and I don't really know why I haven't done it, but I'm finally getting around to it today, and that is testing Gordon Ramsay's vegan recipes. Growing up, of course, I watched all of Gordon Ramsay's shows before I was vegan, and even after I was vegan, but until recently, he hasn't really been putting out any vegan recipes, at least to my knowledge, but over the past couple years, he has released a few, none of which I have tried. So today I've selected 3 different recipes, which, I mean, if you would like a part 2 and I can try other ones, please let me know. But I selected 3 recipes that I thought sounded the most fun and interesting and tasty to me, and we're gonna be trying them out today. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I just went to Sprouts, got all the ingredients, and now I'm back here, and I think we're gonna start with eggplant steaks. Eggplant is a vegetable that I am kind of neutral on. I don't hate it. I actually ate some eggplant tofu dish the other day that was pretty good. The flavor is nothing that you can really hate, but nothing that's amazing either to me. But it's just the texture that I'm always very iffy on. It can be very slimy. Steak is just not slimy at all, so I don't know how this is gonna turn into steak. I brought you over here closer to the stove because the first thing we have to do is char the eggplant. I'm gonna look back at the recipe just in case, but I'm pretty sure that he just put them. Char each plague plant? Char your plague plant. Char each eggplant over an open flame on your gas stove. Using tongs, rotate eggplant until charred on all sides and just tender. Okay. I honestly don't think I've ever charred anything in my life like this. Time for something new. I should open the window. Sorry if the audio is gonna be bad, but I don't want my apartment smelling like burnt eggplant for the next 4 days. Okay, so I would say that it is charred enough, maybe a little, no, I don't think a little more than enough, but it is definitely very tender. It says to place the eggplant in a baking dish that's big enough for it. I did have a smaller loaf pan, but then I made someone a lemon loaf and brought it to them in the pan, and then I don't think I ever got the pan back. I just texted them, so we'll see, but either way, I have one big pan, and it says to cover with plastic wrap to like cool. I don't have plastic wrap, but I think tinfoil will work just as well. I think it's just something to kind of trap the heat so it'll make the skin easier to peel. But I have this covered, and I'm gonna set this aside, and now it's time to make the rub. For this next step, he puts whole cumin seed, mustard seed, and peppercorn seeds, oh, and dill seeds, into a pan over medium heat to bloom. I think that is the name for when you like heat up spices on the stove to bring out more of the flavor. I went to Sprouts because I was thinking Sprouts would have the full spice like seeds. I wandered around that store for probably an hour and a half this morning. I'm not even joking, I probably look crazy. I mean, I ended up asking the employees. They didn't have full seeds for dill, cumin, or mustard. I do have peppercorns, but I will be using already ground dill, mustard, and cumin because I just couldn't find it. He ends up grinding everything in the end anyways, so I feel like there's not that much of a difference. I don't know. We're gonna put all the spices on the stove, heat them up, and then mix together with a few remaining spices that you don't bloom. And yeah, that's about it for the next few steps with spices. Spices are done off the stove. He used like a grill grinder thing. I don't have one. The closest thing that I have is this Ninja like fine vegetable salsa maker chopper thing. Will it work? Honestly, I don't have the highest hopes, but it is the closest thing that I have, and honestly, as long as it breaks it up more, I'll be pretty happy. Did it grind them up perfectly fine and do a powder just like him? No, but it definitely broke things up a lot more, and I'm happy with it. The next step is to take the eggplant once it is cooled and peel off the skin. So now we have our skinned eggplant. It is time to season it. So I have, oh, one step I forgot. Definitely need to cut off the top of this, but I need to cover the whole thing in the rub. rub on. I also need to add salt. I feel like it would have just made a lot more sense to add in the salt with the rest of the rub, but that's not how Gordon did it, so it's not how I'm gonna do it. Next goes on some olive oil. He covers the bottom of the dish with wine. However, I am 19, so I'll be using some grape juice. I'm hoping that with all the flavors, everything else in it, it won't make that much of a difference. Sorry about the substitute. Legally, nothing else I can do. So we're sticking with grape juice. I did buy fancy grape juice though, if that makes it any better. Oh, and just spilled it all over the counter. I need to put it in the oven for 30 to 45 minutes, turning once, then flip it and roast for another 30 minutes. So now that we have I forget the name, I'll put it on the screen of whatever he calls it. We are going to put in our eggplant, and that was close. I now have to baste it, which I've never done before because I went vegan at 14 and I was, not really basting a bunch of meats in middle school. First time for everything though. And I think maybe I should get not a serrated spoon. That could be helpful. I think I just cook it like this, continuing to put the juice on top so it's fully coated. Turns out I will be doing this for 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm not gonna make you guys sit with me for 15 to 20 minutes. So I'll see you all in a second. Okay, here is my eggplant steak. Try to ignore the fact that I'm eating with this mini avocado fork. I just set up my camera in front of where my utensils are and I don't really wanna move my camera. So, it cuts very, very, very easily. It's very soft. I'm gonna be honest, I do not have the highest expectations. It doesn't smell bad, but it doesn't smell too good either. Okay, it tastes better than I expected, honestly. I did expect it to taste worse than it does, but it was like I was talking about in the beginning, it is very soft and kind of slimy. I do think that if I was eating it with more firm vegetables, I don't know how much the mashed potatoes would help. I think it would just kind of add to it. But if I was eating it with firmer vegetables, I can see it being much, much better. It's not bad, but I do think for the work that you put into it, it's not worth the outcome. If you want to try something new with like friends or something, maybe. But it's kind of like the watermelon steak I made. I made a video maybe 2 years ago, turning vegetables into meat, or turning fruit into meat. I don't know. I do think that mushrooms are pretty good as a meat substitute, but beyond that, I would rather just do like a soy-based wheat, like seitan, pea-based protein. Also, yeah, that's another thing. If you eat this with just mashed potatoes and other vegetables, what are you eating? Vegetables, vegetables, and vegetables. That is not a full meal. I just had my non-vegan roommate try it.
Yeah.
Same
thoughts. It's not a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah. The work and no, you're right. The work that you put in, it's not bad if it took like 15 minutes, but it took me like 2 hours.
Honestly, if anyone is like, maybe I should try this, I would go for something different. It's like fun to try, but if you're like starving for a meal, don't waste your time.
Don't go for this. So we're now on to recipe 2, which is definitely the most simple of the 3, and that is avocado toast. However, he is doing a few things with avocado toast that I definitely have never done before. I make avocado toast all the time, as do probably a lot of you, but definitely have not done it this way. So we're gonna try out Gordon's recipe for avocado toast. This, I believe, was actually in his Veganuary recipes from this year, so that is fine. The other 2 are a bit older recipes, but this is newer. And it's very simple. He starts with black sesame seeds. Once again, wandered around sprouts for way too long. Could not find black sesame seeds anywhere. They did have white sesame seeds. The only difference is the colors. They taste the exact same, but he starts out with some sesame seeds in a bowl. In the video, he does not give measurements. He might give measurements on his website, but I think things like this are kind of more by taste. If you like more of one of these things, add more. If you don't like it, take out more, do whatever you think will fit your taste buds. Then some red pepper flakes, some salt, pepper, and lastly, this is something I've definitely never done, is lemon zest. Well, I mean, I've zested lemons, I just mean not on avocado toast. Now that my topping mixture is done, I'm gonna set that aside and start working on the bread. I got sourdough just as he had recommended, and he cooks them with salt, pepper, and olive oil, so I'm gonna do the same. Same salt and pepper. And I'm sadly not a professional chef with access to every appliance and every cooking thing I could ever need, so I don't have a grill because he does grill the toast instead of using a toaster. I'm not gonna use a toaster, so I will be taking it still a step above. I just will having to be like pan toasting them because I don't have a fancy grill stove, but close enough. Now that my bread is all toasted, it might not look exactly like his, it doesn't have the grill marks, but I still think it looks like very good bread. But he just cut up an avocado into slices, so I did the same. Next, he squeezed some lemon, which is something I always do to my avocado toast. And then the last thing to do is just to add on the topping that we made. He says to put it on pretty generously, so I'm going to add all of it. I zested about 80% of a lemon, I would say. It is now time to taste, which is what I've been waiting for. This looks like something I would get like a fancy cafe. It is so good. I mean, I don't really know how many avocado toasts I've had that I thought were bad, but the lemon zest is so good. It makes it so fresh. I definitely wouldn't say this is better than my avocado toast recipe, but I would see myself making this again. 9 out of 10. I don't really know what I would change, but I think I might like my avocado toast recipe a tiny bit better, so I think that's why I'm holding off on the point, but very good. Okay, so we're now on to the third and final recipe, which I actually saved for last because it is one that I'm most excited about, as I've heard the most about it over the past couple years. And that is Gordon Ramsay's vegan bacon. It is made from rice paper, which you normally, would get wet and then it becomes moldable. However, you have to cut these into strips while they're still hard. I was prepping some of my ingredients off camera so I don't have to do everything and bore you guys. And I found it so difficult to cut my rice paper into strips like this. I first tried to use kitchen scissors as I just thought that would be the best and easiest thing. I could just slice right through it. But when I did that, it like spider webbed, like it cut everywhere else. At least for me, scissors do not work. And then when I went in with a knife, it would do the same thing. So for me, I found the best way of it is to line up the knife and where I wanted to cut and slam my hand down. It isn't perfect, but I think I did pretty well that way. But yeah, this is rice paper bacon. It has tofu as well and some spices, some sauces, and that's about it. So I think we're gonna get started. I already have a plate right here with a bunch of different spices on it. As I already said, the recipes will be linked down below, so if you wanna get all the ingredients and like measurements and stuff, feel free to check that out. But now I have to add in the wet ingredients. I'm gonna start with maple syrup. Next is soy sauce or tamari. And then I'm gonna melt some vegan butter in the microwave. I just added in vegan butter, but I didn't even press record. So I added in some Earth Balance, but you can use any brand that you would like. And lastly is a tablespoon of sriracha. Oh, no, not lastly, I lied. I have to add water. And then also liquid smoke is optional. I am just not a fan of liquid smoke, so I'm not adding it. So now that our mixture is all combined, we can start on the tofu, which I do want to say, that smells phenomenal. So even if it doesn't taste like bacon, which who knows if it will taste good. There's no way with that. It smells so good. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but it smells amazing. Now I have to crumble up some tofu. This was pre-pressed. And now that I have a bowl of crumbled tofu, I'm gonna add 1 more tablespoon of nutritional yeast and then 3 tablespoons of the marinade. Since I am having the recipe, I will be doing 1.5, but same thing. I'm gonna give the tofu a good mix so it's all coated. Okay, now it's time to assemble. So you're just gonna take a rice paper strip, push it into the marinade on both sides. Make sure it's like pretty well soaked. You want it coated. Then you're gonna lay that down on your baking sheet, add the crumbled tofu, and then you're just gonna do the exact same thing to another piece of rice paper and lay this one on top of the other one. I'm gonna press it down a bit, but that's all you have to do. Bacon is now finished and ready to go into the oven. It is preheated at 375, and I think I bake it for 10 to 15 minutes, but I need to check that. Oh, 10 to 12 minutes. Flipping halfway through. See you after that. I just took the tofu out. It's been 10 minutes. It is, I don't know if you can see, it is like so flimsy. I could never hold this up with my fingers and it not just disintegrate. It's not crispy at all. So I'm gonna flip them once more and bake them for maybe another 5 minutes and then I'll be back. The vegan bacon's done and it doesn't look that bad. That didn't sound very good. Basically, as I took it out of the oven, as you guys saw, it was very flimsy when the time was supposed to be up. So I put them back in, and even when I took them back out, they still were a little flimsy. So I let them cool for about 10 minutes and they hold up better now. They actually are not that bad. Does it taste like bacon? No, it does not. But I enjoy it and I think it would be really good in a BLT. Plain, it's fine, it's nothing special. But honestly, there are not many vegan bacon brands that I've tried that I've really liked. Actually, there was one that I tried at Expo. I actually took a photo of it. Oh, yes. Ozo, O-Z-O. I've tried their bacon, it was really good. I was very impressed. I'd never heard of that brand prior to Expo, so I'm not sure what stores you can find them in, but do your research on that because that is actually some product I want to pick up. But for a homemade version, this was not that bad. It was pretty easy. It definitely did not take even like half the time the eggplant did, and it's so much tastier to me. But as this is the last recipe, my review for Gordon Ramsay's 3 vegan recipes that I tried today. Eggplant steak tastes pretty good, texture's off. Maybe a fun thing to try with friends, but beyond that, I don't think it's worth your time. Avocado toast, I mean, it was avocado toast. It can't be anything too crazy, but the lemon zest made it so fresh. Everyone adds lemon juice to avocado toast, but lemon zest has the lemon juice flavor, but like times 10. So it's even better. And the vegan bacon, honestly, if I'm ever craving a BLT, I would absolutely 100% make this again. Now I really wish I had BLT ingredients, because now I want one. I should have just went for it. I don't have lettuce. I only have cherry tomatoes. And I want avocado in mine, and I use my last avocado for the avocado toast. So basically I'm not making a BLT, but I think I'm gonna remake this. Maybe in like a week or two, make a BLT. Not bad. If you wanna see that, go follow me on Instagram @AshleyWicca. I'll post my BLT and review over there. I've actually been really active with my Instagram stories recently, and I've been very proud of myself. So if you wanna go follow me over there, I post a ton more food content, basically just what I'm eating every day. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know if you want me to do a part 2 of this video, and I'll see you all in my next video.